Welcome to the Lifeboat Live. We have 4 simple rules. Number 1, we don't discuss politics. Ever. Number 2, this is not a religious channel, and while you might hear people say, God bless you, or I'm going to pray for you, or I wouldn't have gotten through this without my faith, that's fine. What's not fine is to say, my God is better than your God, or here's why you're not getting into heaven. It's not going to fly. Number 3, we believe wholeheartedly if you can't control your tongue, then you can't control your life. So while on board, there's not going to be any cursing in the live chat, period. And number 4, there is no room for mean people on the lifeboat. Because we discuss very sensitive things from people's past in our group setting, we got to protect those people. The only way they feel confident and comfortable discussing those things is in an environment that is free of trolls and mean people. So if you're a mean person or you're a troll, we're going to block you for life. And if your account happens to be less than 24 hours old, we're probably a little suspicious right from the word go. Why? Well, because there are people in this world who enjoy being cruel solely for the sake of being cruel. It's not going to fly here. But if you're here because you're trying to get sober and live your best life, then you might find that the lifeboat is just that, a lifeboat. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and we will see you on deck. There's no sound. Okay, people, I am back. Hopefully you can hear me. Can I get a 5x5? How about a 5x5? It's nothing worse than when you're just talking and you're not sure whether or not anyone can hear you. But I'm going to go with the concept of maybe didn't hear a thing I said. So the question would be, nope, they're not hearing anything I'm saying now either. No sound, Mark. Oh, 5x5. There we go. Okay, people, we're back. So that's something. I'm glad to hear that you people are hearing me. This, folks, is the number 2 show, and it is a number 2 show, if you know what I mean. And as I was saying, when you didn't hear me, it's just proof that if somebody gets in front of the camera, their technological skills go right out the window. Mark shoots but one video, and the next thing you know, gone, right? Can no longer run this thing. No, I'm kidding. I'll be checking with my space weather expert, but I blame this one on weather in outer space. But whatever it is, it certainly wasn't my fault. It certainly wasn't Mark's fault. Well, might be Mark's fault, but it certainly wasn't mine. My hands are over here. So, but we're back, and it's a lot of fun to be back with you people. Before we got disconnected the last time, I believe what I was saying was that this really is therapy. You know, I'm not talking about for you guys. I'm talking about for me, and very much so for Mark. It was just in case you missed any of it. It was really refreshing for me to see Mark do what he does in front of the camera, and just know that he can put the captain's hat on at a minute's notice, and the ship does not lose even a second of our forward progress. That really is a blessing. And I was also saying, I don't know if you heard this, but you know, if you get 2 people who agree on something 100%, but they describe it to you, you're not going to get it the same way. So I am foreseeing in the future, in the very, very near future, a little bit more diversity here on the lifeboat. You're not going to be stuck with Captain Tommy on every single video. Obviously, since Mark does it and does it well, you guys are going to be seeing a lot more of them. And that's great for everybody involved. It's variety. It's breathing room for both of us. And boy, I just think it's going to make the boat better. I really, really believe that. And the response from you all this morning, I appreciate everybody that did reach out and tell me, what they thought. I can truthfully say that I did not have one negative comment from anyone. The entire crew on the boat was very, very excited about that. Probably not as excited as I was, but that would have been difficult. So today, people, we're really going to talk about a subject matter that probably doesn't get brought up enough. And it's so painfully obvious that you should almost feel like it doesn't need to be discussed. But the nuances of it, when you start to think about it, and if you take the time to actually run this stuff through your head, I think you're going to find that this truthfully is life-changing stuff. I wish, however, that we didn't lose everybody. I know that there are people out there sort of wandering about right now because the number of people on this, there's a lot of them probably trying to figure out exactly what happened. Unfortunately, sometimes when you go to the second video, you don't pull it up the same way. If you haven't refreshed on YouTube, a lot of times people don't see that. But you know what I'm doing, people. This is a speaker's sort of technique of talking about absolutely nothing and giving those people an opportunity to stagger in so that they don't miss the beginning of this. I assume that those who who are here regularly are going to double back to watching anyway. But if you saw the title the first time and the second time, I want to talk about the word needs. Believe it or not, the word need or needs is one of the most used term in all of the planet. Doesn't matter what language you're talking about. It doesn't matter where you're at, anywhere in the world. Need is one of those words that is used pretty much more than just about anything else, which is, kind of obvious for a lot of reasons. I mean, it's very difficult to have a regular conversation without the word need coming up, right? Unfortunately, it is also one of the most misused or misunderstood words in all communication. And some of this is just human nature, and some of it, people, is by design. Some of the misunderstandings with the word need come directly from Madison Avenue. And if you're not familiar with Madison Avenue, that is where the people who decide what you're going to look at, what you're going to buy, what you're going to want, more importantly, what you're going to believe that you need, right? If you take the basic needs of a human being, what you end up with is they need food, they need water, they need shelter. And most psychologists and psychiatrists today will say that they also need love or connection, that is now a basic human need. That's really all you're looking at in terms of what a person needs. And I mean needs as in needs to survive. However, we have confused need and want, right? Because there are people out there that will tell you that they need a handbag made by Prada or by Kate Spade, or there is a guys out there that need a Rolex, watch, or they need a Porsche. They need something that they feel will make their life complete. And if the people on Madison Avenue are doing their job right, well, then you think you need this toothpaste and you need that hair gel and you need all of it, right? Their job is to make you believe that you need things that you quite simply don't. And this is something that plagues everybody on the planet. But needs versus wants are something that really is different for people in recovery. This is something that shapes our lives in ways that it really doesn't for other people. What ends up happening is there is a series of things that plague us if we start to make mistakes in terms of need versus want. There's a road that you go down that is dangerous, and I mean really dangerous. One of the first things that happens is if you convince yourself that you need something, you find that you feel entitled to it, right? No matter what it is that you believe you need, if you start to believe that that is an essential thing in your life, then you will start to begin that process of entitlement, right? I should have that. Why don't I have that? And regardless of whether or not that is love, I mean, think of some of the things that we feel that we need. As we come off of sobriety, we have lost almost everything, truthfully. Very oftentimes, somebody who is making the break from their drug of choice or their whatever their habit or chemical was, very oftentimes we lose just about everything that we had. So as you start to become this new creation, there are things that we lost in the past that we want back, and we want it back instantly. However, we confuse that want with need, right? Absolutely. We all want a significant other. We all want a relationship that we can share with somebody that is going to be meaningful. It's something that every human being, truthfully, deep down inside, desires, wants, and most likely really needs. However, when you start to come off of addiction and you start to work with a clean mind for the first time, we've talked about this many times in the past. All of your emotions and things are sort of put into a hyper mode. All of a sudden, these emotions that normally weren't as strong sort of become heightened because we've been drugging them for so long that now that the brain is clear, we find the want for affection and we find the want for a meaningful connection with a human being to be something that we will convince ourselves that we need. And down the road, that may be the case. You know, a home is a great thing. And many people believe that they need that. And down the road, that might be great. But so oftentimes, as we start to get sober, we convince ourselves that these wants are needs and we begin to feel entitled. So you say, what's the problem with that? The problem is that as you start to feel that you're entitled to this, you're going to start to judge your life in terms of happiness, in terms of success, in terms of all of the metrics that we use as a way to determine whether or not we feel like we're making it. You start to use that almost as a report card. And you get this attitude of, you know, I've been sober for 2 years. I still don't have a girlfriend. I don't have a home. I don't have a car. And the next thing you know, you're confusing want and need. The truth is, when you're getting off of the deck, when you're coming off of an addiction where your brain, your decisions, everything about who and what you are has been ruled by a chemical, what you need is to not do that chemical. All of the other things start to become wants. And granted, you know, you can define them any way you want, but the truth of the matter is what you need is food, shelter, right? Water, and connection. Not necessarily love yet, people, but connection. Now, if you can find that true love through the connection process, that's great. But if you can't, does not mean you can't survive. You have to get the basic needs taken care of as you start to enter the world of sobriety. That is essential. And it is really important to define it because the third thing that's going to happen is as you start to judge yourself, as you start to judge your life by the things you feel entitled to, that you feel are true needs, you begin to go down a rabbit hole that will absolutely determine your happiness. We start to tie to our happiness all of these things we believe we need. And the sad thing with this is the self-talk that this creates is really akin to the addiction that we just beat, right? We used to think all day long, well, I'd be happy if I just had heroin. What I need is the next fix. I'd be happy if I had a drink, right? If I just need to get drunk, if I have 4 or 5 drinks, I'm going to be fine. I need that. And this becomes something that we convince ourselves for. But now we're into a new life and we're sober. And I would just be happy if I had a better job. If I was making more money, I promise you, I would be happy. And we keep raising the bar of happiness and pushing it out in front of us. Instead of living in the moment, like we talk about all of the time, these needs that we believe we have start to create an illusion of what is going to create our happiness. And without those needs met, without that entitlement that we now believe that we have, we start to paint ourselves into a corner where the only option we have is to be unhappy. You see where I'm going with this? What has happened our entire life when we didn't feel happy? Well, we simply bought happiness, right? We bought it 6 cans at a time. We bought it 32 ounces at a time, or we bought it by the bag or by the gram. But we got our happiness through a way that was not healthy. If you can't clearly define the difference between wants and needs, you're creating a brand new way to do that all over again.
And where this really becomes a problem is as you achieve the things that you think you need, the bar is just going to get raised. I would be happy if I had a good wristwatch. You'll save up money that should have been invested in other things. You'll do all kinds of crazy stuff to ensure that that happens. And the second you put it on your wrist, you're going to find out that that happiness lasts a couple of days, because that's not what brings true happiness to somebody. So what ends up happening is we continue to move the goalpost. This is a process where no matter what we have, there's one other thing that we need. If you can learn to be happy being who you are, then you can start to define the wants in your life. And you start to look at this in a more healthy way. As we're coming into the holiday season, you hear people say things like, what does so-and-so want for Christmas? Right? What does so-and-so need? So-and-so doesn't need anything. But we convince ourselves that we do, and it shouldn't be a shock because words mean things. And advertisers who are really good at this, who sit thousands of people in a room as they put advertisements up on a screen, and they watch things, I mean, down to the minutia, people. If you think I'm playing games, I'm not. They will watch things like pupil dilation. They are getting to the point where they are so good at bombarding our brains with images that are designed to do one thing: convince you that you will not be happy without their product. You know, you just are going to be happy if your teeth are a little bit whiter. You're just going to be happy, you know, if you're wearing a nicer shirt, if you're wearing a better tie, if you're wearing, are you kidding? All of those things are nice. And don't get me wrong, please. I'm not saying that it is a bad thing to want nice things. In fact, it's a reward for sobriety. If you used to spend $600 a day on heroin, to go out and buy yourself a $75 shirt, that's a reward. It's a great thing. But if you think you can't live without it, then you're probably in some trouble, because you're just going to continually set the bar a little bit out of reach. And as you get it, that bar is going to move again, just a little bit out of reach. And you are going to create a situation where you become a slave yet again. But instead of being a slave to a chemical or to a habit or to any of the things that were ruling your life in the past, you're going to become a slave to things. You're going to become a slave to desires, to wants. People, the basic human needs are so clear, so defined, that as you start the road to sobriety, you know, make sure that you're getting fed enough, right? Ideally, a healthy diet. And then start from there. Make sure you're drinking enough water. I don't believe that anybody drinks enough water. It's been a very firm belief of mine for a long time. But food, water, shelter, do you have a roof over your head? I mean, would we all like to live in a 7,000 square foot home with a swimming pool and a hot tub and maybe, I don't know, a cook? Yeah, that would be awesome. 4-car garage with Italian sports cars in every single bay? Awesome. And if you reach a level of success where you can make that happen, and that's something that's going to make you happy, fantastic. But don't think that that's going to be the answer to your prayers, because it's not. You have to develop healthy lifestyle skills that are going to make you happy where you're at. There's a cliche that I don't think gets used enough. Happiness is not getting what you want. It's wanting what you get. It's being comfortable with what you have. And I want to tell you something. One of the greatest gifts that I ever received was going to prison. Because when you spend 7 years in a walk-in closet, right, with a toilet and a sink and a roommate, and in some cases, a toilet, a sink, and 2 roommates, I kid you not, people, the walk-in closet in my house is as big as the cell that I lived in. You start to realize that the things that you were a slave to before you went away, the desires that you needed, that you truthfully convinced yourself that you needed, are just downright silly. And when you get to the point where you're in a walk-in closet with a toilet and a sink and another guy, and I was there through the beginning of the C math, right? That happened while I was there, and they locked the doors. We weren't getting out. I mean, for any reason. So now you're in a walk-in closet with the door locked, with a toilet and another guy. Literally, the room's small enough that if I were to put my arms out on both sides, I could touch the wall. But if you learn to be happy in that environment, if you learn to be happy in that environment without the ability to buy every single thing that you see advertised on television, no shot, right? Nothing that Madison Avenue is trying to sell me that I have an opportunity to even think about. You just can't buy any of those things. But thank the Lord that I got sober in that environment, because now that I get out and I'm in this environment and people say funny things like, oh, well, we're going to, you can come over, but all we have are leftovers. Are you kidding? Leftovers. I spent 7 years eating food that said on the box, not fit for human consumption. I'm not kidding. If you think I'm joking about that, it really said that. And there is a reason that there are many religious sects across the planet that take away absolutely everything. You give up all of your possessions. Everybody wears the exact same color robe. Everybody cuts off all of their hair. They strip away anything that could make you identify yourself different or better than anyone else, right? Everyone has on the same shoes. Everybody has on the same robe. Everybody lives in the same concrete room. And what happens is there's nothing left to concentrate on but your brain and your happiness. I'm not suggesting you toss out all of your things, people, but I'm saying that there's something to that. There is something to being free from consumerism. There's something to be free from all of that. And again, I want a Rolex watch, right? I want a couple of Rolex watches. I want a 6-car garage filled with Italian sports cars, but I don't need any of those things. And I've come to the point in my life where I know what I need. I promise you, people, spending some time thinking about what you truthfully need can change your life. And I'm not going to lie to you. I need more than food, water, shelter, love. I'll be perfectly honest. The last 3 days taught me anything. It taught me that I need all of you. I really do. It's not a want for me. I want this channel to hit 2 million subscribers, and I want every one of them to get sober. I want us to change the planet when it comes to sobriety and how people view addicts. I want that. Do I need that? No, I don't. I really don't. I could be happy without that. But I do need the connection that I have with all of you. It really has done amazing things to turn me into a better person. This is no joke. I'm a better person now than I was on July 30th when I started this channel. I knew what I wanted to do. I didn't know what would happen between me and this. I intended to do videos and to bring up subject matter that people would talk and think about. I did not intend to make long, serious, lasting connection with all of the people on the boat. It has been the greatest gift of my adult life. I'm not kidding. It has blossomed into something now that is a need. Can you need things that are healthy, that don't fall under that immediate list? You absolutely can. I think that in a very healthy situation, you need your wife. Not to put anybody on blast, but since he's my partner and I enjoy putting him on blast, the relationship that Mark has with his wife is amazing. There is an absolute fulfillment of need there that is magic. It really is. And I think that's the way it's supposed to be. I think that you're supposed to need someone in your life that should be that important to you. And the beautiful testament to all of that is this is someone that has been with him through the bad times, right? The last 10 years of sobriety, albeit a challenge. I mean, she was there before that. She was there when the chips were down. That's a need that is amazing, right? To have somebody that provides that amount of love and support to you. That's healthy as all get out to need that. However, you don't need that the day you put down the bottle. You don't need that the day that you get sober. Because I'll be really honest with you. If you start that relationship then, the odds of it blossoming and turning into something great is just plain almost non-existent. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'll get an email today from someone that says, my parents met in rehab and they've been married for 45 years. God bless them, right? But that's a one-off. We play the numbers. We play the statistics. And there have been books written about the the Rehabilitation Romance. Again, when we first set down our drug of choice, our brain, our emotion, everything is working about 15 times more than it normally did. You'll hear everybody who has ever fallen in love in rehab say, it was like seventh grade. You know what I mean? I felt like I was 12. It was like the first time I had ever been in love. Of course it did. You've drugged your brain for the last 10 years or for the last 20 or 30 or whatever the case may be. You have put your brain to sleep. Now it's awake. You have put your emotions to sleep. We've talked about this so much, people, but what drugs do best, especially certain certain drugs, opiates in particular, it puts your emotions to sleep. There is a reason that people do drugs. Yeah, it may start out because you like the buzz, but it gets to a point where you use that substance to take away pain, right? Even if it's not a painkiller, it could be cocaine, but that substance takes away the feeling of loss, the feeling of inadequacy, the feeling of failure, the feeling of loneliness. All of those things are removed by our drug of choice. Then we remove our drug of choice. And all of those emotions come back in spades. You've heard Joe Birdwell, right? When Joe did his first interview with us and when he did his second interview with us, both times he said, I'm a wreck emotionally. One of the reasons that we were really hoping he would allow us to sort of follow him through this process is so that we could, see exactly what this looks like, so that the people in the world can watch what early days of recovery are like. And Joe is an awesome candidate because he's super honest and he just sort of puts it out there. But, we joked about it on the video, but a good Hallmark commercial and it'll put you to tears. And again, of course it will. You have let those emotions sleep for as long as you've been doing dope. And for some of us, that started when we were 13. I started drugging my brain at 13. So at 45, when I finally said enough is enough, I had a lot of emotion to work with, a lot of things that I had to work through. And when it first came on, I'm telling you, people, it was ridiculous and a lot of fun to do in a federal prison system. The movie 50 First Dates would come on. I couldn't get through something like that. A good romantic comedy. And I'd have to go to my cell and, sob because I was an emotional wreck. You're learning again. You're learning in many cases for the first time what it means to have any kind of a healthy emotional framework. And that emotional framework is how you're going to view everything in life. While that is happening, food, water, shelter, right? That's it. Concentrate on the things that are actually important. And as you start to build your life and you start to level out in the emotions, then you can start to look at other things and you can start to sort of explore. But don't ever convince yourself that they're needs. We don't need a Ferrari, right? Truthfully, do you need transportation? Do you know how many people on this planet do fine without it? Do we want to take the bus? Probably not. It's an awful lot easier, right, to get into a car and drive there. But you hear people say all the time, well, I would have taken that job, but I needed a car. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. And if you really wanted that job, you'd have got it. You'd have gone and taken care of it. But we cloud ourselves. And when I was talking about the three things that happen, that downward spiral, when you convince yourself and you start to feel entitled, and then you start to feel like it is owed to you by this God, universe, whatever you believe. If you believe that entitlement happens and it doesn't happen, then what? You start to question your faith in God. You start to question your faith in the universe or whatever. And it's not the fault of any of that. It's the fault of unrealistic expectations that you have accidentally or just through, not really considering it, have defined as a need. Again, people, before I end up turning this over to my bobbleheaded brother, the last thing in the world I want to do is come across as someone who is telling you that it's awful to want nice things. I'm not telling you that at all. I'm not telling you that it's a bad idea to want love in your life. That is absolutely a necessity. It is. It's just not a necessity 2 weeks into your sobriety. And it's not something that there are people on this planet who will live lives without a significant other and grow old that way. Yeah, and can make a very happy and productive life. You know why? Because they didn't convince themselves that that was a need. However, if that's all they thought about, what they would be is probably in the same situation, just miserable. Just miserable. If you're not on solid footing and really solid ground, then giving yourself over to somebody else is cruel to both of you. Make no mistake. It's not a good thing for the person that you're with, and it is not a good thing for yourself. We say it all the time, right? When the masks fall out from above, make sure you put yours on, right? Before you try to put it on somebody else. Because if not, you're going to pass out in the process of trying to put it on somebody else. You got to take care of yourself. So as we start to come out of the funk that has been drug addiction, let's start to make lists. It's not to write things down. What do you really need? And then reread the list, And if a car is on it, ask yourself if that really is the need. I mean, from Jump Street, from day one, what do you need? You need food, shelter, water, and some connection. My recommendation would be to make connections with people who have been in the same boat. And I'm not just talking about here people, although this is great, but wherever you are, try to make connections with people who are going to understand what it is you're going through. It's going to give you a much better chance for success in everything going forward. At this point, people, you know what I'm going to do? This is the part where I get to squirrel. By the way, I saw a great piece of art today of a boat that actually had a squirrel at the captain's helm. I'm thinking it was probably Mark you were drawing when you did that. But Mark, how are you?
I'm doing good, guys. Doing good. You, brother, I see you're doing just a lot better. I'm glad to see you were feeling better. I really am.
I am.
I mean, I tell you, I know everybody else didn't get to see a whole lot of the back office stuff. But, guys, when we got off stream the other night, I felt so sorry for him. Just saying. So I knew, it was definitely something he's been fighting all weekend long and then into the day a little bit. So, but yeah, thanks for allowing me to come out to you guys and do a video today.
Awesome.
It was, I haven't, on my channel, I started my channel just by doing, something similar to what Tommy did here, doing the uploaded video thing. And I actually did that for like 2 years. And
I have no screen. Sorry.
Oh, you're all right. No. Then you got, then I did one live stream. I'm not even kidding. It was one live stream, and I realized at that very second that even in a space weather environment, we talk about needs, what I needed was the connection with people. And it doesn't matter what you're talking about or anything like that. If you don't have that connection, what are you doing? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to, I'm not saying that you have to have this big magical connective moment or anything like that. I'm just saying you need to be able to at least relate just a little, or at least empathize some and understand what's going on and be able to be, nice about things. But, the connection thing is huge, and the need, actually, I had something happen on my channel, my last live feed, that goes right into what we're talking about here. I had another channel come in and start trolling me. And this channel is way bigger than mine. I never even talked to this man, right? So I don't even know why it was even there. I don't know why he was doing what he was doing. But the last comment he made, and I still didn't kick him out. Okay, this is how lenient I am over there. He said, "I will always have more subscribers than you." That was his comment. And you know what I did after that? Because it did bother me. I'm not going to lie to you. It started making me mad, and I wasn't going to let it like ruin my stream or anything. But I'm human. It affected me, right? So I kept going back to his comment because when you delete a comment or time somebody out, anybody that's never been a mod, nobody sees those comments but the moderators and the channel owner, right?
Correct.
So nobody really seen what he said. So I actually put my chat on screen and kept going back to his comment and pointing out, hey guys, this is what's important to him. It's the subscriber count. That's what he was that's what he was judging the success of my channel on. So that tells me he does the same for himself. He's judging his success by that. And, so in his mind, that's what he needed. I don't need that, right? I need the connection, whether it's with one person or whether it's with 5 million. I need that connection for myself. And, it's so sad to see people, really act like that on the need situation, and there was some really bad stuff he said even before that. He said I was on a short bus and everything else. And not that was offensive so much towards me. It was offensive to anybody else that had kids or anybody else that really fought with, like, the kids just had some sort of disability or whatever, they take the short bus to school. I mean, I understand. I get it. When we're kids, we laugh at those kinds of things. But this man's 55 years old. You know what I mean? It's like, where are you? Anyway, I'm not going to get into that because it'll get me all fired up. But I brought that up because it's the need thing, right? He thinks he needs that subscriber count. But does he really? He doesn't. He doesn't need that number. He needs to be able to do what he needs to do for himself to make himself feel better. And unfortunately, at that time, that's a negative thing for him. And, and it's been my experience that negativity breeds negativity. So there will never be nothing positive that's coming from that direction unless he makes a change. And, and I'm fair enough. I give people that chance. But, and just like we do here, guys, I mean, honestly, I have to say, some of the stuff that we've already been through as a young channel, it's impressive. I have to say that. I really am. I mean, I would just say that. But the thing of it is, what's even more impressive is how we've handled it. It's that direction. We're here for the right reasons, and that's why we're still here. There's a lot of people would have gave up a long time ago when all that stuff on my channel or even over here, whatever. I've seen some really bad, nasty stuff, and Tommy has too now. And those people need love. I just have to say it. That's what they need.
Yeah.
They need love. And it's a shame that more people can't see that, when they're in that situation, they can't see past the hate to even see where the love's at. And, I truly do pray for people. And, the need thing, I think that's a necessity. I really do. We've talked about physical needs and things like that, but we have mental needs too that get us through this life. And I think that, we can't forget that. We cannot.
It's funny that you brought up I'm not going to lie to you. There was a time, and I'm talking not too far ago, not too far back. When I said earlier in on this live feed that the amount that I have changed since I started this channel and how this thing sort of happened, that was my sole focus when I got started. And I'm not saying that I wasn't trying to help people and all of that, but to me, the report card was going to be that count. The number of people that came on board was going to be, sort of how I judged this. And once this started to happen, once you started to, when I say to people, please send me an email, let me know who you are, because when I scroll and I look down like this, I realize I'm looking at names and going, I know exactly what that person is going through. I know exactly what this person's drug of choice was. And that really has become, the biggest change was, now the success is the number of people that truthfully are getting helped. We had a couple of amazing stories from last week that individuals really, really were able to make some huge changes in their life like this. Right.
Right.
And I'd trade that for 1,000 subscribers any day.
Right. And I would add this to it, listen, guys, it is about the connection. It really is. Oftentimes, as YouTubers or creators, we do get wrapped up in looking at that subscriber count. Now, listen, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be aware of what our subscriber count is. I think we need to be effective in what we're doing. But we don't hang our hat on that number. We hang our hat on the connections that we build with you guys and really we hang our hat with the background conversations. Because I'm telling you right now, there's nothing better of a feeling to know that if we helped at all anybody get into some sort of a rehab, get sober, get some sort of help, and we have. That is the best feeling that you're ever going to feel. And I talked about in my video this morning, I call it fake happiness and real happiness. Fake happiness is when you're throwing those chemicals in your body. That's a fake thing. Are we really supposed to feel that euphoria all the time? No, I don't think we are. And the reason I say that is, how do we know it's good unless we know what the bad is? You will never know what the good is unless you know what the bad is. And I think that, when you mask that bad with the chemical, you're masking all that. You're glazing over your face and you're just turning a blind eye to it. So, like I said in my video this morning, go back to a memory like when you were a child. And if you had a bad childhood, just find a memory that before you got addicted that was really, really cool. And just focus on that and remember what that felt like. That is your true happiness. That's where your happiness will end up. Now, I'm not saying you can't get more happy than that. I'm just saying that's a ground floor thing that you can go back to, and you've always got that. 100%. Nobody can take that from you, ever. And, no matter what your situation is, where you're at, you can focus right back onto that memory and be like, well, people call it finding your happy place, right? I mean, I know it sounds really cliche, but daggone it, that's exactly what it is. But if you can remember back that far when you're old like me, you do. You find ways to get your brain to go a certain direction. And there is a physical thing there, guys, and we've talked about it so many times. Your brain is literally building new neural pathways. It's creating different avenues for the information to travel down. It's exactly what it's doing because we damaged it with the chemical we were putting in our brain. I mean, a lot of that is what's going on. But if you're aware of that, then you're able to give yourself a little bit of a break when you mess up or when you're thinking a certain way or whatever. And that's just how I look at things. And I know I've been talking about creating new memories a lot, but I really truly do think that is part of the foundational success of anybody that's going to succeed in recovery. I ain't telling you to forget everything. I'm just telling you to go make some new ones so those bad or that stuff while you were high can kind of get mute a little bit. It's never going to go all the way away. I'm not going to be ridiculous and say that. That's just a fact. I mean, it's just something that we did and we've all got to deal with it. But it's like this boat. This is helping everybody deal with those kinds of things. And I really, truly, I can't tell you how grateful I am. And I know we say this so much, but man, I can't not say it. It is one of those things, guys. I mean, you see people judging their success by their subscriber count. We don't do that here. We just don't. And you can really look at somebody. If you look at somebody's channel, if you went into the analytics, you could figure out why certain channels aren't doing whatever. And I call them drive-by subs. You're going to have a base loyal people that's always going to watch your channel. You could come out here, pull your pants down, and take a dump on the table, and they'd still watch. I mean, honestly, and I'm sorry that's a disgusting, and maybe I shouldn't have said it like that, but I wanted to put the point out there that, there's always going to be those loyal people. But those loyal people are helping everybody else get here too and see what we're really about. And when we do get to those bigger numbers, because we will, I have every confidence in all of it. We will get to those bigger numbers. Guess what? Those are real subscribers. Those are people that are here because they want to be, not because somebody else told them to come over here. Okay, they may have got here that way, but they're staying because of you guys. And yes, I would give some credit to Tommy and myself too. I mean, we're all part of this, but they're staying because of what we're doing here. It's nothing more than that. So, but anyway.
So, what's funny? A quick story, because this is going to make you laugh. First of all, there was somebody who mailed me some stickers. Now, just goes to show that people probably didn't catch the very end of any of my videos, because now what I say is, instead of saying something is going to pop up in the bottom right hand corner, I'll say, a symbol is going to pop up there. It looks a lot like that. Okay, these are lifeboat stickers, and I am going to come up with some way that probably will be announced either on the morning video or some other way, but these are not for sale. These are giveaways. These things are going to get sent out to people, and they are awesome. This is actually Keith came up with these, had these made, because these are going on a hot sauce that is being used for charity. But if you look at it, what you have here is, it is the lifeboat symbol, right? And then right below it says, I quit, which is the name of the sauce. All of the sales from that sauce are going to a charity, which is near and dear to all of our hearts, because it's about rehabilitation, right? It's going to celebrate recovery, which is awesome.
Wow.
But yes, and then one other thing I saw in the chat, this is a funny story. Somebody, I didn't see who it was because it was going quickly, but they were putting up some lyrics from a song, and it said, at first I was afraid, I was petrified. I don't know if you ever heard, if my brother ever told this story, but I was, Johnny and I were doing a deal years ago. It was something that I had set up, and we were filming, and there was a large group of people there. And we had a woman on stage with us, and everybody was doing a testimonial for how a system that we had put into place was working. And I'm sitting next to my brother, and they're going down the line, and the guy said to the lady next to us, what was it like trying to do this on your own before you had the system in place? And she goes, well, at first I was afraid, I was petrified, and it hit me, right, that's the intro to the song, and then I learned how to carry up, and I leaned over and looked at Johnny, and I just sort of under my breath whispered the next line in the song, and we made idiots of ourselves. This was being filmed, broadcast. I'm talking about, you lost it like you're 6 years old in church, where you make that like that kind of noise, and the entire crowd is just staring at us like, these guys are rude. But when I looked out and saw it, I had just one of those instant flashbacks to that moment. It was absolutely killed me. Sorry, I had to share that. I know
that's a great thing. I mean,
Johnny will see that and
he'll laugh at that one for sure. Yeah,
people, these are giveaways. Pay attention, either tomorrow morning or tomorrow night's live feed. I'm going to do something. We're going to come up with some
figure something out. Yeah,
we're going to figure something out so that we can get these out to people.
Tell you what we could do, Tommy. We could do this.
I think she said I would put it on my phone. It's very funny that you say that, because check this out. Look at that.
There you go. Heck yeah.
It's it keeps me from thinking. Yeah, Gloria Gaynor is the woman that sang the song. One of the queens of disco.
Maybe we could
funny stuff.
Maybe do something like a retro back to like when you did Tommy's picks, and get a random number generator. Somebody wants to drop some comments down in the comment section, and we can just hit a random number generator and they get a sticker. Something
you know
like
what? That's probably not such a bad way right there. Start doing it through the comment section. Mm-hmm. It is sort of my roots, so to speak. Back in the day, seems like 15 years ago, doesn't it?
Oh man.
Yeah, not that long ago. Boy,
yeah.
It seems like a long time ago. Chili Mancer, I believe that my friend Donnie is popped in to the and Bench Genetics. This is a good crew this evening.
Yeah, we got
guys. Tommy, how about a sticker in place of chips for my 7-day sober tomorrow? You know what? How do you say no to that? How do you say no to that?
Oh my God.
Right, well,
sorry guys, one. She just stole your sticker.
There's one, man. That's one. You got that. You got that.
That was an awesome comment. Wow.
That was an awesome comment. That's that one's in the bag. You got that coming. That is better than a chip. I like it.
Oh yeah,
I really do. But you know what's funny? It's funny that someone just said that, because I don't have it in front of me, but I will show it to you people tomorrow. There is a company that makes poker chips, and they are legit. It looks, take it from someone who lives in Nevada. This is a stone cold perfect replica of a poker chip used in every single casino in America, with the little, different color cutouts, and you can get printed on them. So I am very much looking forward here in the near future to actually doing some sobriety kind of chips that say the lifeboat on them, and maybe some chips that just say, lifeboat, something down in
We've
your pocket.
actually,
Great way to
I've
be an
actually got some
icebreaker.
of those, Tommy.
Yeah,
The printed chips. 'Cause
yeah,
we,
they're awesome.
Yeah, we did the Texas Hold'em thing for a while, and we had a local insurance agent that actually had his face and his family all over the poker chips.
Yeah,
So you'd be betting like his name was Kyle, so I'll bet a Kyle. The chip out there. It's kind of cool, but no, it's a great thing. That's an awesome idea, that poker chip thing.
Did you see the comment from CT555? This is just another great example of I've said so often that the wealth of knowledge in our among the crew. If you people didn't see this as a scroll by, let me read what CT555 just said. He said, "I'm learning to replace the phrase 'I know' with 'I understand.' He says, I learned that saying 'I know' can just shut down who's listening to you. I know. No, I'm kidding. That really is an awesome comment. It's insight, and there's
deep.
something to the phrase. There is really something to the phrase 'I know.' Very oftentimes, even if it's harmless and you're not thinking about it that way, it's one of those things that stifles, conversation, sort of makes you come off as a know-it-all.
Well,
CT, I love that, man.
Yeah, it makes you come off like you think that what that person's saying doesn't matter. I already know that, so just shut up. That's kind of how it comes when you say
there's a popular phrase in prison that you hear all the time that people say, "I already know," which used to drive me insane. Yeah, I already know. Like, it wasn't good enough to say "I know." They wanted you to know that not only do they know,
they already
knew a while ago.
Yeah.
But
how did you know I had a pimple on my butt? You already knew that?
I'm really, really glad that I happened to squirrel when I did, because I love that. I'm going to make a concentrated effort to say "I understand" more going forward. I think that is a beautiful, beautiful.
We could probably start taking some ideas on some new shirt stuff too. Maybe.
Oh, by the way, thank you so much, people. Mark, people, we're in the market right now for the next phrase, and it's a tall order. You know what I mean? Like, Saigon Cinnamon did just such an amazing job with coming with the never quit quitting. This is just the top of the food chain, but we are absolutely looking for the next good phrase. We do want to keep that sort of that kind of mindset. Like I've had some people say, "I'd like to avoid my face. I would like to avoid my name. I would like to avoid any of that stuff on a shirt." If I really appreciate the people that emailed that and suggested it and all that. It is not about me. It's not going to ever be about me. It's always going to be about the boat and the message. So we are open to any kind of suggestion. Pretty easy to get a hold of. If you look in the Dropbox, you're going to come across both my email and Mark's. Shoot a email to one or both of us. And,
or maybe even
squirrel shirts. The squirrel shirt is not something that I would be adverse to. I kind of like the squirrel concept, but definitely nothing with my grill on it. You
guys might drop your ideas in the comment section too, because it might spark some ideas on other people that read it.
Absolutely, I love. That's how it happened last time. So it started right there. Never stop stopping. That's good stuff right there. That is really, really funny.
Saigon was in here earlier. He had to bolt.
Yes.
Yeah. It's guys, and I am sorry for what happened earlier in that first stream. It really, honestly, was not my fault, but I hate it when that stuff happens. Some of the technical stuff today was just in my brain. Thanks, Fly.
I understand. It really was not your fault. Phi, that is funny. That is very, very funny, Phi.
Remember, it's Phi. Don't you dare call it Fee. Call her Fee.
I know better. I've learned.
Yeah.
There will not be any Vegemite anywhere near anything. You people are incorrigible. See, Stacey Michaels knows. No, Phi. What's wrong with you?
But thank you,
So-
Keith, for real though, Keith. Seriously,
And
that was awesome.
look at Ben Genetics too. Why, Phi? Why?
Love it.
Destiny over desires. I like that. That's actually a very, very cool.
That's a good one.
Very cool
Yep.
saying. I dig that a lot.
Yeah. And I think if you really want to get it on a shirt, guys, if you really want it to be considered, it can't be like a paragraph because there's no way you could do that on a shirt.
They get a little tough for sure. Yeah. And hashtag Tommy Vegemite, man, take that wrench away from him. Oh, you know something? I have been meaning to announce this for the longest period of time. I really have. I'm a squirrel. We all know this. Do you know what I recently found out? Okay, so there is a very old Scottish tradition that goes back to the dawn of man, that in Scotland, people who own land, right? This was how you got the title of lord or of lady, right? Was by being an actual landowner. And I happen to know, this is a true story, that our very own Phi Crispin is no longer just Phi Crispin. She is Lady Fiona Crispin. I kid you not. She is a landowner now in Scotland and has a legitimate title. So feel free when she starts to pick on the good captain for Vegemite stuff, just know that you are addressing the Lady Phi Crispin. True story. I'm not making that up.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
To show those documents when they get to her. But yeah, somebody gave her that. Is that cool or what? But awesome. Yeah. Nevertheless, I will just be calling her Phi. No, I won't. I'm just kidding. But well, she is a lady now.
I actually put the F and I put a little I icon after it now.
I have been known to do that myself with the F, the capital F and the I, so that I don't make mistakes. I wouldn't want to.
But yeah, guys, and again, thank you guys for this morning. And actually that video was late, and thank God Tommy was watching. I'd never, believe it or not, I've had my channel for 3 years, and I've never ever scheduled a stream or scheduled a upload. And I guess it goes forward today. Tommy told me that. I didn't even know that. So I had to go back in and just fire it back up. But it was there. It just wasn't going to post till tomorrow.
The Stacy Michael says Vegemite is not allowed in Scotland. I don't know if that's true, but if it's not, it should be. You know what I mean? They'll eat haggis, but not Vegemite. You gotta love it.
For sure. For sure.
But I made Lady Fiona Crispin actually blush, which is good because she takes great joy in trying to do that to me here. So yes, enjoy.
Guys, please share the stream too. I know that, I'm probably just going to integrate it into the intro somehow. I found some pretty cool graphics and stuff for that where it'll just remind you. But at the beginning of the stream, just hit that share button underneath the video. You can share it straight to your Facebook. You can put a community post on your own channel. It doesn't take but a second. And, and there could be somebody out there that's needing help right now that might just see it. It's also a good way if you are fighting, a recovery issue and stuff like that going on. If you share it to like your Facebook, then your family has a chance to come over here and actually see what we're doing and seeing what this is about. And it could help, explain what's going on with you to them.
No question.
So I think it's a good thing if you guys could. I know we don't typically ask for those kinds of things, but it helps.
You know what though? Honestly, believe it or not, it was what I was about to sort of end this with, and I'll tell you why. One of these days, and I've been saying this probably for months, but one of these days, I'm just going to compile all of the emails and go through the questions that I get the most often, because there are some questions that I get again and again and again and again. And the one of the questions that I get most often is, is there anything I can do to help the boat, or how can I help the boat? I get it all the time, right? It's just one of those things. People, that is the easiest way right there. You want to help the boat out. Number one, tell people about it. And number two, share it. It's just the easiest way in the world. And I promise you, It's what has been growing the boat. More than anything, it's great to have YouTube pushing us out there for sure. But what really has made this grow has been word of mouth. And that's really the kind of growth we'd like to have. You know what I mean? When somebody comes in and they've already got a couple of points of contact with people who are already in, they tend to acclimate very quickly to sort of the whole kind of loving and caring thing that we've got going here. And we had definitely reached a point where that's how we judge this. It's not about how many people come in. It's about the points of connection, because I've said it before. I didn't come up with it. It's somebody else's theory, but I agree with it more than anything. The opposite of addiction is not sober. The opposite of addiction is connected. The opposite of using is sober. The opposite of addiction is connection. And we're building real connections here. Beautiful stuff. On that same note, if you're not a member over on Facebook, please come over and join it. And by the way, if you have seen me on Facebook and you think you are following me on Facebook, okay? If this is not the symbol that you see when you get to my Facebook page, then that's not my Facebook page. Some of you have been kind enough to report it to Facebook, who have told me that since they're not posting much or anything, that they're not breaking community guidelines. That is not me. It is my picture, but it is not me. Right. My page will have tons of stuff about the lifeboat on it, and it will have this symbol, this one here. Okay.
And that page has only got like
I'm just waiting for them to start posting. You know what I mean, Mark? It's making me a little nervous.
It's only got like six followers over there, just so you guys know. So if you see that, obviously it's not Tommy.
Right. Mine's got, I don't know exactly how many, but it's in the thousands. So it's not that one. If you see 6, get off that page. It is not me. Please. People, I really want to thank each and every one of you for coming out here this evening. Appreciate your patience. We roll with the punches, don't we? We do a pretty good job of it. I want to do a shout out to Mark. This year I've had sort of waiting right here, because this one today is completely from Mark, who just, people, I am more, it's not even a nice thing, but I'm more judgmental of people doing what we do, because it's kind of all I've ever done. So I tend to be critical. I shouldn't be, but I tend to be. And even through that this morning's video was awesome. And it just felt so good to know that, we got a whole nother barrel we can now shoot. And that, it's gonna save lives. It's gonna change lives. I'm really, really excited about what you bring to the party. That means the world to me, man. It really does. So
thank you. I really appreciate it.
Now, if you just learn to post it on time, we got this. Sorry.
For sure.
I wasn't gonna let that one slide. All right, people. Thank you so much for getting on the live feed. It was great to be back with you people. There's going to be a video up tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Between now and then, you have but one assignment. We would like you to reach out and try to save somebody. I am Captain Tommy Scoble, and on the other side of the glass,
Mark Wages.
Good night, everybody.